Drove and see the nightlife where they call Atlanta. Southside shows for a couple dollars, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
This thing on? Holy shit, we're back.
We are so back.
We're so back. Maloney's money line, ladies and gentlemen, technically week 26, if we're keeping track of that. But I mean, we're just calling it March Madness. First round. That's what we're here for tonight. We are going to give out the best March Madness picks. Well, what we think is the best. I mean, I'm 0-7 lifetime college basketball on this show. So take my picks with a grain of salt. But Ryan, I'm glad to have you back on the podcast, buddy. How you doing? Happy St. Patrick's Day. You're very festive.
Yeah, no, it's great to be back. Couldn't be a better day. You know, it's the Irish Christmas. I got my Irish whiskey. Shout out Conor McGregor. But yeah, no, it's a great day. Great day to make some gambling picks. Great day for college basketball in the next few days. So best part of the year. It's sad we didn't get it last year, so it's good to be back.
Where does St. Patty's Day rank for you on holidays? Is it number one or?
It might be. I mean, obviously, I love Christmas. I love 4th of July. But yeah, I mean, it's a great time. We have great St. Patrick's Day party every year. Obviously this year we didn't because we're safe and, don't want to spread COVID. Last year was on my birthday, so that was a fun time. But yeah, no, it's a great time. Love getting drunk and just celebrating my heritage.
Ryan Maloney, noted booze bag, loves getting just kidding, but I'm so glad to have you back. It has been too long since we have had your wonderful face grace the Brew Party podcast, Maloney's Money Line. So if you guys haven't already, please go check out episode 54. Just dropped today with the legend, Illinois basketball's all-time leading scorer, Deon Thomas. Absolutely dominated the Illini in the early 90s, scored over 2,000 total points for his career. The only person in school history to do so. He's all-century team, Illinois Athletics Hall of Fame, 4-time All-Big Ten, went over to Europe and absolutely killed it, won like 3 Israeli championships, 2 EuroLeague championships, was just an absolute monster on the court. He talked to me about the Illini. He does color commentary for the basketball team now on the radio broadcasts, and he's been one of the only people that's been able to see the team in person. Up close and personal all year. So we talked a lot about that. We go in depth on a lot of different guys on the roster. We talk about his playing career and just what he thinks he's going to see in the tournament. So awesome episode out now, wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. So go check that out. But this is Maloney's Money Line on the Brew Party podcast. I want to say weekly gambling segment, but it hasn't been a very weekly gambling segment as of late. We will be back next week, Ryan. We're going to commit to doing a show for each round of the March Madness tournament and with a special guest, hopefully next week. I don't want to spoil it just in case it doesn't happen, but just know somebody big is hopefully coming next week. Responded very quickly, was super nice, wasn't available tonight, but we are looking forward to having him next week. So, Ryan, before we get into our best bets of the first round of March Madness, I thought we could do something kind of fun. We could go over some championship futures, some championship picks. Obviously, I don't want to say way too early because the first round starts tomorrow, which would be Thursday. So I know we are in a bracket pool for the Brew Party. So who is your championship pick?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of played it safe and went with Gonzaga. I don't watch too much college basketball during the regular season. I got back into it the last couple weeks just so I could kind of get caught up and figure out who I like going into the tournament. But I mean, Gonzaga is obviously, the best team in the country. That obviously always doesn't play out in March Madness as we've seen. But I picked them for my championship team because I feel like, especially in your bracket and other brackets that I'm in, there's going to be a lot of people picking the Illini. So I figured I'd just go someone else. So yeah, I went with Gonzaga. I think they might be like plus 200 or plus 300 to win it all. I'm not sure the exact odds, but
yeah. So currently Gonzaga's at plus 200. I believe the next closest is at Baylor plus 500. You can see it on the bottom ticker here. Michigan plus 600. Illinois was my pick, national champion, my homer pick there, plus 700. And then it jumps all the way up. Iowa plus 1,600. Oklahoma State plus 1,600. Alabama's there at plus 16. Ohio State, Florida State, Houston, Texas, West Virginia, all plus 2,000. So I think there's a lot of value in some of those teams there. Obviously, you never know what's going to happen. Gonzaga is not a bad pick for you there, Ryan. I mean, plus 200 is pretty decent value there for a team that's finished the year undefeated. A lot of experts, a lot of people nationally have the Zags in their national championship game. I personally have Gonzaga playing Illinois in the championship game. I think if that does happen, it could be absolutely electric. But yeah, as far as my pick, I think I go Illinois, you go Gonzaga. Two of the, I don't want to say better picks, but I mean, hopefully better picks. Yeah. Two of the more popular picks I think we've seen so far. So speaking of championships, speaking of the futures, we're going to give our final four or who you think is going to get there. We'll start with yours, my guy.
Yeah, so I have hold on, sorry, I have my bracket right here. So I have Gonzaga versus Bama, and then Baylor versus U of I. So I mean, I don't always like to pick all 1 and 2 seeds, but I just see that is how it's going to play out in the tournament. I think those are definitely 4 of the best teams. So yeah, Gonzaga, Bama, and then Baylor versus U of I.
So you said you don't like always picking the 1 seed, like all the 1 seeds to advance. Who do you have your eye on? Any lower seeds that you think like have potential to go pretty far?
I kind of like Villanova. I think they're 5, maybe 4 or 5. I think they're 5. I don't know. Villanova's a tournament team. We've seen them win it in the past. So I guess they're kind of my dark horse going into this.
Right. And here's something I thought of. So like, let's say in the Sweet 16, what's the over under on the highest seed that is going to be in the Sweet 16? We'll put it at 7.5.
I would say over. I mean, we know crazy things happen in March. A lot of upsets happen. So yeah, I mean, I could see definitely an 8 or a 9 seed getting into those rounds.
You deserve rounds, Ryan. So yeah, I mean, let's go through my final four. I guess it's my turn to do that now. Mine is actually exactly the same as yours. I have Gonzaga. I really like Nate Oates in Alabama. I think how they play the game is very tough out of the SEC. We saw they only lost 1 or 2 games in SEC play, won the SEC title game in a really hard fought, awesome game over LSU. I actually have LSU losing in the first round to the Bonnies. I really like St. Bonaventure this year. But so my final four is Gonzaga, Alabama, Baylor, and Illinois. I know it's boring, the 3-1 seeds, and then I think Bama's the 2.
Yeah.
But I just think this is going to be a year, like it's already been a year with uncertainty, and you don't really know what's going to happen. And obviously there's always chaos in the tournament. So one of these bigger seeds is going to fall.
And I feel like right now, Baylor and Gonzaga and U of I are definitely like far and away the top 3 teams. And then I just kind of like Bama. So
exactly. I think that is smart. You take the 3 top teams and then throw a wild card in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Illinois is playing better basketball than anybody in the country right now, and arguably in the toughest conference in the Big Ten there. So it's going to be very interesting for sure. So we have the same Final Four here. Look out for those. I don't know. I haven't seen any futures on what it would be for these teams to make the Final Four. I guess that could be cool to kind of look up. But Ryan, I guess we should get into some picks. Shouldn't we? I guess you want to just go back and forth. I think we each have 12. It's not the normal format that we usually do with the favorite, underdog, all of that good shit. It's just whatever picks we like, you throw them out there. There's no rules. I'm going to take off my shirt. So I'm going to you start us off with your very first pick, sir.
All right, yeah, I'm going with the game tomorrow. The first four, I'm going to go Wichita State plus 1.5 versus Drake at minus 110. Wichita State is always a team that makes some noise in the tournament. Shout out. I mean, not anymore, but they used to be in Missouri Valley Conference. But they're just a fun team. The Shockers, you got to root for them, and so I like them with a plus 1.5 in that game.
Absolutely, my guy. So the Shockers have had a pretty decent year out of the American Athletic Conference. They had problems with their former head coach, Greg Marshall. Some allegations, not really allegations, I guess, that came to light that he said some not so great things, wasn't treating his players that well. So he's donezo. They appoint an interim head coach. And he ends up getting the full-time job. So good for him, taking the Shockers back to the tournament. They face a Drake team from the Missouri Valley that was incredible all year. They end up losing like their top two players at the end of the year. So I'm curious to see what that's going to look like in this tournament, in this first four game. Something to look out for, though. Drake for the year was 26-1 against the spread. I actually have Drake as my first pick, minus 1.5 versus Wichita State at minus 112. I'm sorry, we're going head to head already, Ryan.
That's all right. I mean, it's March, so let's see it.
Absolutely, my man. So let's go to your next pick then.
All right, yeah, I'm going to go another game tomorrow, another one of the first four. I'm going to go Michigan State -2 versus UCLA. Two teams that I don't really know much about this year. I like Michigan State. I like Izzo. He's a good coach. He knows how to coach a team in the tournament. So, I like that -2.
January, February, Izzo. April, May, June, July. So, this is the first time Michigan State has played in the first four. They've made the tournament the last 24 or 25 years. They were really close to missing it this year. They're led by a couple guys, Aaron Henry and Rocket Watts. Look for them to get the majority of the touches for the Spartans. Joey Hauser is a guy that you're going to see shoot a lot from the outside. But Tom Izzo, it's not the traditional Tom Izzo powerhouse Michigan State team. I do think they're going to have enough to beat UCLA. You talk about Mick Cronin is early on in his career at UCLA after having a bunch of success at Cincinnati. And credit him for getting out of the Pac-12, getting them into the tournament. But I just don't know. I don't know a ton about UCLA, but I think I'm going to ride with you here. Michigan State -2. That's also one of my picks. So I went head to head and then I stole one of yours for my second pick. So we'll go to your third pick.
All right, I'm going to go Arkansas -9.5 versus Colgate at, I don't know what you saw it at, but when I got it earlier, it was plus 100. So I think that's pretty good value for a pretty solid Arkansas team against Colgate, who played three teams over and over the entire year. Right. So plus I like Arkansas. I'm on the must bus, so I'll take them to win by 10.
Must bust. So these are two teams that love to get up and down the floor. The total for this game is super high. I actually have the over in it. I will give you that pick next, but I want real quickly, I had this pulled up, and of course I don't have it now. These teams like per game numbers, these averages, because these teams are going to run. Musselman said in an interview on Pardon My Take that he wants his team to throw minimum 200 passes a game. He wants his offense to just keep moving. So Arkansas averages, it's not even on here, 86 points a game. And Colgate averages 76. So I think this has potential to be a high-scoring game. Sorry, that's really bad radio, me just staring at my phone there. But I am taking the over at, God damn it, where is it? Here it is. Arkansas Colgate over 161.5. So the Brew Party best bets for this game, we're going to call it, take the over 161.5. And then if you can still get it, Arkansas minus 9.5 at plus 100. I do think that's really good value there. Talks about being on the must bus. He's, I think, second year at Arkansas, and he has completely transformed the roster. He brings in transfers. He does this thing where he takes these guys from lower conferences that are looking to move up rather than take a chance on a freshman, and he kind of looks at it as like free agency in the NBA. These guys already have a body of work. You already kind of know what you're going to get from them. So there you go. And I mean, it's worked out. They're rolling. There's a 3 seed, a lot to like in Arkansas. So like we said, Ryan is going to be taking Arkansas minus 9.5 versus Colgate at plus 100. And then I am taking the over. So over 161.5. And I believe that is at minus 108. Knew it the whole time. Totally knew that. So let's go to your next pick, Ryan.
All right, I'm going to go with an underdog. I'm going Georgetown plus 4.5 versus Colorado at minus 106. The Hoyas, they're hot. They just won their tournament. Yeah. So, it's a good time to get hot going into the first round. So I like them plus 4.5 versus Colorado.
Would you have known who Patrick Ewing was if you were working security at Madison Square Garden?
Not a chance.
Yeah, they are. I don't know. I really don't know what to think about them. They weren't good during the year. They were like, it took their success in the Big East tournament to get them over 500. But I'm not like super impressed with Colorado either. Mm-hmm. So I think this could be one of those. There always seems to be a 12 versus 5, where at least 112 seed beats a 5. It seems like almost every year. Mm-hmm. Could this be the one? Ryan thinks they're at least going to cover. So Georgetown plus 4.5 versus the Colorado Buffaloes. So my next pick is going to be Virginia Tech money line versus Florida. I haven't been super impressed with Florida this year. Sorry, Ryan. I mean, you're not really a Florida basketball guy, more just football, but I think Virginia Tech has good value there. We saw that ridiculous Twitter video they put out trying to get clout for being a 10 seed, which, I mean, congratulations for making the tournament, but go out and win this game, and then I'll give you some credit, Virginia Tech. So I'm going out on a limb here, taking Virginia Tech money line versus the Florida Gators.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the pick. I mean, I love the Gators, but I mean, like you mentioned, I couldn't name 2 people on Florida. Like, I mean, I'm a Florida Gator football fan through and through, but yeah, it's a good pick, I guess. But I'm still gonna be rooting for the Gators. So
thanks for making me feel super confident about it. I mean, I'm not ever confident in most of my bets, anyways. So what does it matter? The Bulls just pissed away a fucking 20-point lead, so that's great. We're not talking about the Bulls though. We're talking about college basketball. Let's get your next pick, because I know it's going to make me feel a little better. It'll feel a little bit better because it's objectively hilarious.
Yeah, positive vibes only. Yeah. I'm going, and I'm picking this solely on, I just want this to be a blowout, and I think it's hilarious that this is a line in March Madness. I'm going Baylor minus 26 versus Hartford. So yeah, let's hope they can win by 30. That'd be awesome.
I don't know, man. You throw out the records when Hartford comes to town. This one just means more for the boys.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Baylor's been freaking insane all year. They did get knocked off in the Big 12 tournament. Kind of like, I don't want to say, they did kind of sputter towards the end of the year. They're still a very good basketball team. Obviously still a 1 seed. Ridiculous amount of talent on that roster. But I think something is to be said about that kind of lost momentum. they experienced. And 26 is a lot of points, but we do see this all the time in these 1 versus 16 matchups where maybe the 16 can kind of hang around for a little bit, but by the end of the game, I will not be surprised to see Baylor win by like dropping a 30 piece on Hartford for sure. I just thought it was hilarious that they are laying this many points in a fucking NCAA tournament game. So
I saw that line and I was like, I have to take this. It reminds me of taking Bama every week in college football.
Exactly. That is exactly what it is. So my next pick, I am going with Texas Tech -4 versus Utah State. So this one, I mean, it's at -112, a little bit of juice there. So you can see the public is on it more so than the other side. But, the Mountain West was a tough league this year. And that is what Utah State played in. You talk about playing San Diego State, who's a very good team. They're also in the tournament. And just there was a lot of talent in that league. So this isn't going to be just a gimme game for the Red Raiders, but I mean, the Red Raiders have been awesome. You talk about Mac McClung, Terrence Shannon Jr., Chris Beard has built a winner in Lubbock, Texas, and I think they are a threat to make it to at least the Sweet 16. So I'm going to take them to win by at least 5 here versus the Utes. So at -112 odds there. So Texas Tech -4 versus Utah State. Ryan, let's go to your next pick.
All right, I'm going to go Oregon State +8 versus Tennessee. Another 12-5 matchup. Oregon State being the 12. And like you mentioned, there's always at least one 12 seed that upsets a 5 every year. So I expect this to be close, and I feel like 8 points is a lot for this close of a matchup. So I like that, and I think it's good value.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. And I think what you were talking about with Georgetown earlier, Oregon State's the same thing. They got really hot in the Pac-12 tournament. And I think Tennessee was another team that was going on a trajectory, like a downhill trajectory as the season went on. So this is definitely a good pick. I think I'm going to ride with you on it. I don't have this one on my card, but I'll probably add it. The Beavers +8 versus the Tennessee Volunteers. So if we move on to my next pick, I am going with Rutgers -1.5 versus Clemson. I think Rutgers just has more offensively than Clemson does. You talk about a guy like Ron Harper Jr., who's probably going to play in the NBA. Geo Baker has been awesome. And then Jacob Young has really emerged as one of the better guards in the Big Ten this year. He can do it on the offensive side of the ball. He's an elite on-ball defender as well. So I'm going to take Rutgers -1.5 here, get their first tournament win, and God knows how long. Your next pick.
Yeah, so I'm sticking in that game. I'm going to go with the over here, Rutgers Clemson over 125.5. I was trying to find their average scores, but I couldn't quick enough. But I mean, 63 points each for this game. I think that can happen. So I'm taking over 25.5, over 125.5. That'd be nice if it was 25.5.
Yeah. It seems to be one of the lower totals.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, that's a low number. I'm just going to take the over there and see what happens.
Hammer it. I'm not taking any unders in this first round. I'm going to see how everything goes. Just give me all the points, baby. We're in Indy. We're in the bubble.
We need to make up for last year. Give us all the points.
Yeah, give us points. Give us buzzer beaters, close games. Give us covers and all of that good stuff. So my next one is going to be, I think we're getting close here, close-ish to being done. So I'm, like I said earlier, I teased this, the Bonnies, St. Bonaventure money line versus LSU. So LSU looked pretty damn good in the SEC championship game against Alabama. We're both picking Alabama to get into our Final Four, so we know how good that means LSU must be if they were able to compete with them for that long. But I really, really like what St. Bonaventure did out of the A-10 this year. They're like 32 in net rating, I think. Maybe even higher than that, but I'm gonna take a chance. I think the Bonnies pull a 9/8 upset here over the Tigers.
Yeah, I love it. I love those upsets, especially when it's a school like that over a big SEC school.
Yeah, especially like it's a school whose colors are brown and white. That really makes you get up. A hell of a color scheme. All right, your
Go
your
Hillman,
next
man.
pick. Yeah.
Wore those colors for 4 years.
You know what it means to don the brown
You
and
don't
white.
you don't earn the brown and white.
Oh shit, we're off the rails. I think that your next pick is a team you were talking about, and the Bulls lose. God damn it! Sorry.
Yeah, I just got the update on my phone. Oh man, under too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, all right, back to the picks. Yeah, I'm going Villanova -6.5 versus Winthrop. Like I said, I know we know Villanova is a good tournament team. So I think they can definitely win the first round by 7 points. So I'm going to take them.
Yeah. Are you concerned about the injuries on Villanova's side at all, or you think it's not really going to matter for this matchup?
To be honest, I don't even know what the injuries are.
So
it doesn't matter.
Colin Gillespie, their best player, got hurt in the tournament. He's out for the rest of the year, and
that's all right. I'm not worried about it.
Not worried about it. I think the other guy that got hurt actually is okay now. This is really hard hitting analysis here. You can tell we know what the fuck we're talking about. Anyway, let's get on to my next pick. So it is going to be I already did Drake. It's going to be Oklahoma State and Liberty over 139.5. Oklahoma State was one of the best teams at hitting the over this season. Overs are 19-8 and 1 when the Cowboys play basketball this year. Also, Oklahoma State's not even supposed to be in the postseason. They were technically supposed to be on a postseason ban, but the NCAA is like, oh, you have Cade Cunningham? Come on in. So I'm going to take the over. Liberty likes to get up and down the floor as well. They're a really good team out of the ASUN. So yeah, I'm going to take Oklahoma State and Liberty over 139.5 at -113 odds.
Love it.
Love it. Ooh, excuse me. Your next pick.
All right, I'm going to go back to LSU St. Bonnie. And I just picked an under just because I felt like I had to. I don't know. I picked pretty much spreads and then just one over and one under. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it'll be pretty good. So I think that's a lot of points, especially for St. Bonaventure. I don't know much about them, but I don't really see both teams scoring over 70. So I don't know. It was kind of just one of those where I saw a lot of points and I was like, I'm taking the under.
You got to do it sometimes. Don't you dare doubt the bodies, Ryan. Don't you dare.
I'll be rooting for him, all right?
Yeah.
Take it easy, man.
Take it easy. Sorry. Got a little heated there. Yeah, I'm still thinking about the Bulls.
That's all right.
On St. Patrick's Day, they didn't even wear the green jerseys. What the hell is this? Is anything sacred anymore, Ryan? My next pick is going to be the North Carolina Tar Heels -1.5 versus Wisconsin. The matchup in the front court for North Carolina with Garrison Brooks, I think he'll be able to really dominate Reavers. And then, I mean, Micah Potter's pretty solid down there, but the size that North Carolina has, I think they're just going to be able to overwhelm the Badgers. And I mean, you do look at the backcourt, Demetric Trice on Wisconsin's side of the ball has been incredible. He's like a fifth-year senior. He has the experience. He's been to March before. Obviously, you have Brad Davidson, one of the most annoying players ever to play in the Big Ten, but, he's going to Wisconsin, so that's a given. So I'm going to take the Tar Heels here. I don't really know how this is going to work out. I could definitely see Wisconsin winning this game, but in my eyes, I think that North Carolina is going to be able to pound the rock into the paint and be able to pull this one out by at least 2 points. So that is my pick. Let's go to yours. I think we each have, 2 left?
I got three. Yeah.
3 left. All right.
All right, I'm going to go Bama minus 17 versus Iona. This honestly kind of just looks like a football line. But yeah, no, I mean, I like Bama. Like I mentioned earlier, they're one of my teams in the Final Four. They're hot, just won the SEC. So I think they're going to come out and just get a commanding lead and kind of just coast the rest of the way. And I think they could probably win this game by 20. So like that at minus 17. Not as crazy as minus 26, but it's like it's getting there.
They're gonna coast. Ryan says the Tide. So you just hate Rick Pitino, huh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Screw Rick Pitino.
Wonder how fast he's gonna come after they lose. Never. He knew about it. Wasn't his fault though. Takes full responsibility, but it wasn't him.
No,
that's neither here nor there. You know what? Name a building after him, Louisville. Actually,
you won't. You won't.
Yeah, you won't. Rick Pitino to Indiana. Let's start those rumors.
Let's get it going.
Yeah,
you
Rick
heard it here first on the Brew Party.
Oh, fuck. So Bama minus 17 versus Iona. Yeah, I was going to make the joke that this is exactly like you just taking Bama blindly during the football season. So minus 17 versus the Gales, who actually, I believe, are making their 5th straight appearance in the NCAA tournament. So good for them. I am going Michigan State minus 2 versus UCLA. No, I already gave you that pick, Ryan, you silly goose. Gotcha. I'm going Ohio State and Oral Roberts over 157 at minus 110. So, I mean, Ohio State's offense has been great. Dwayne Washington Jr. has been one of the hottest players in the country. He dropped over 30 on Illinois. E.J. Liddell can be a problem for a lot of people, especially if you're talking about a team in the Summit League like Oral Roberts. I'm taking the over here because Oral Roberts has the nation's leading scorer in Max Asmus, outscoring Luka Garza, outscoring Ayo Dosunmu, outscoring Cade Cunningham, all of those guys. Max Asmus from Oral Roberts putting up like 25 points a game. He is a threat to go for 30 anytime he steps on the floor. I think Oral Roberts is going to keep this game closer than people think, and I think it's going to go over. OSU, Oral Roberts, over 157. That over-under trend I was talking about with Oklahoma State, Oral Roberts is 16-7 as far as totals going over this year. For Ohio State, I'm trying to find them. I had them here really quick. Of course, now I can't find. Yes, I do. Ohio State overs are 17, 12, and 1. I think that's something to watch here. Hammer the over. OSU Oral Roberts over 157, minus 110 odds there. Ryan, we're down to our final 2 picks of the evening. The return of Maloney's Money Line on the Brew Party podcast. Find us wherever you get your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, or at www.thebrewparty.com for all of our episodes, all of our social media links. Speaking of social media, find us on Facebook at The Brew Party Podcast. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at The Brew Party, and go find us on YouTube as well, youtube.com/The Brew Party. Ryan, your last 2 picks presented by The Brew Party. I'm just kidding. You thought I was going to throw a sponsor in your face, didn't you? Psych!
All right.
You can see your face right now.
I can.
Yeah.
All right. Serious face. All right. I'm going Grand Canyon plus 14.5 versus Iowa because fuck Iowa.
Lope up, baby. Lopes up. I've had a former Grand Canyon basketball player on this podcast before. Shout out to Michael Finke, former Illini, former Grand Canyon player, for joining me back a few months ago. But yes, I like this line as well. Iowa's a very good team. If they get hot from 3, I think this could get, I don't want to say ugly, but I mean, it could get close. Grand Canyon has been very good at covering the spread all year. I actually have their numbers here really quick. They're one of the top teams in the nation at covering. They're 15-5 against the spread this year. I'm going to ride with you on this. Fuck the Hawkeyes, especially Jordan Bohannon. Like after Illinois.
Yeah, that was. I can't stand him. I can't stand Iowa. I just hate Iowa. That's why I took this line.
Yeah. They're awful. They're just a whole team of punchable faces that just starts with their head coach. Fran McCaffrey is bitch made. I mean, Jordan Bohannon needs to he's got to use his Twitter fingers because Iowa just sued me when the Illini made him look like a fucking bitch. Either way, ILL, fuck the Hawkeyes. My second pick, second to last pick, Cleveland State plus 20.5 versus Houston. Houston has blown a few teams out this year, including Cincinnati, in the AAC championship game. But Cleveland State's was really solid out of the Horizon League this year, Ryan. So I'm going to take 20.5. I think it's too many points. I mean, like we said with that Baylor game, this is a tournament. I think these teams are going to be up a little bit more, especially Cleveland State as a 14 or they have 14 or they're one of those high ones. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder. I think 20.5 is too much. Haslametrics has this game as Houston winning by 18. I'm going to ride with that. Cleveland State to cover the 20.5 versus Houston minus 109. You sleeping over there or what the hell?
No, I was checking they're 15. Houston's 2 seed, so they're 15 versus 2.
Okay. I'm sorry for lashing out.
Sorry, I was just trying to find their seed.
It's been a good episode. My God, Jesus Christ. All right, your last pick, and then we'll do my last pick.
All right, I'm going to go Oregon minus 5.5 versus VCU. Quack, quack, go Ducks. I don't know. I don't know. They're a good team to root for. You love their colors. You love their uniforms. But yeah, it's a 7 versus a 10 seed. So I think they can definitely win this game by 6. I expect them to at least go to the Sweet 16. So let's ride.
Let's ride. Oregon, they have heard people say they're the most underseeded team in this tournament. They don't think they should be as low as they are. And I hope that's true. I hope they are better than they are because they're one of the teams that I like to root for sure. They're definitely fun. Dana Altman is an incredible head coach, and what he's been able to do with that program has been pretty incredible. So Oregon minus 5.5 versus VCU out of the A10. So it is time for the last pick of the evening. I'm taking SDSU minus 3 versus Syracuse minus 109. Syracuse always seems to have some type of fucking magic in the tournament. They come in as 11 seed. I talked earlier about how strong the Mountain West was. San Diego State was the best team in the Mountain West all year. Like they really, not many teams touched them as far as, in their conference. And I think they played a non-conference schedule, but they were very good all year. Obviously enough to nab that 4 seed. So I'll be curious to see how this game goes. Haslametrics has the Aztecs winning by 6. That would cover the minus 3. I think Syracuse, shout out to Alan Griffin, former Illini, who is leading Syracuse in scoring this year. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if they got it done, or I wouldn't even be surprised if they won. But I think SDSU is the better team, and I think they're going to advance to the second round here by, I don't want to say easily, but I think they can easily cover the minus 3.
Love it.
Love it. The man of many words, Ryan Maloney, has made his return to the Brew Party podcast for Maloney's Money Line. This has been Maloney's Money Line, technically week number 26. We're calling it the March Madness episode, round number 1. These are the best bets for the first weekend of the March Madness tournament, which starts tomorrow, Thursday at 4 o'clock Central Time, I think. It's Texas Southern. Mount St. Mary's is the first game to get it kicked off. You're also going to have Michigan State and UCLA tomorrow. A couple other games as Wichita State and Drake. And then what's the Appalachian State and Norfolk State is the other game tomorrow. So lots of good stuff to get us started. And then Friday is when it just goes. And then it's going to be wall-to-wall basketball all weekend. Get ready for the tournament. This is March, baby. We didn't get it last year. So fucking excited that we actually have it this year. Let's lose our money on some college basketball, Ryan. Just kidding. Winners, winners, winners. Quickly, I guess we should do a quick records update. Just even though it's been forever. So like week 25 was like even before the Super Bowl, it was the Conor McGregor Poirier fight.
Don't want to talk about it.
You don't need to talk about it. Ryan went 0-4 on his UFC bets that night. We each finished that week at 3-5. All-time records, Ryan is 111, 83-2. I'm 102, 91-4. I don't have our exact units, but combined we're 213, 174-6. We will add these as part of the record, but it just won't really it won't count for our overs, unders, all of that good stuff. So when picking favorites, I was 14-11, underdogs 12-13, overs 13-11-1, unders 13-12. My locks the week were 14-10-1. My others are 38-34-2. Ryan, when picking all of that good stuff, his favorites were 10-15, his underdogs were 14-11, his overs 11-13-1, unders 17-8, locks 14-11, and his other general picks were 44-26-1. Ryan, I don't want to do this and get super pissed off, but there's one thing we have to fucking mention. The Red Rifle is coming to Chicago, baby. It's just disheartening at this point. You go from Russell Wilson trade talks that they're all in, reportedly offered 3 first-round picks, a third round, and 2 starters. The Seahawks said no, they weren't trading Russell Wilson at this time. And then we immediately signed Andy Dalton for a 1 year, $10 million. Newsflash to anybody, they fucking traded for Nick Foles last year, paid him $20 million when Andy Dalton was on the free agent market last year, when they easily could have just picked him up then. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't get how he's better than Mitchell Trubisky right now. He's not. He's not. It just feels like they're punting on the season, and it is March.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the Bears are going to finish third in the NFC North this year. The Vikings are starting to scare me a little bit, and the Packers are going to be the Packers again. So congratulations, Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. You fucking dug your own grave. You guys are a joke. I hope you were super happy when you signed Andy Dalton. And I'm not a fucking NFL GM or in a front office or a head coach. I'm not saying I could do any better, but the incompetency or just like even pretending to give a shit or try to make a move that makes us any better and will not hear this recycled garbage that how excited you are and you think this is the move that fucking puts us over the hump. I know this isn't a football thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing basketball, but
yeah,
I haven't made a fucking public comment on it yet on the podcast, and it's just I'm disgusted. That's all I have to say.
I'm mad. I'm sad. I'm hurt. I'm feeling a lot of emotions. I don't think that the Bears, not the team, not the players, but the McCaskies, Pace, Nagy, they don't deserve us as fans. Like, we have stuck with them through everything. We believe we are some of the best fans in the league. We are, in my opinion, and I don't think this is just my opinion, the best city in the country. We deserve a winning football team, especially a historical team like the Bears. And time again, they make these stupid decisions, and it's just like, what are we doing? Where are we going? We're wasting this defense, and now we have a quarterback that we're giving $10 million to be worse than Mitch was. For anybody that's listened to this show, I've been a Mitch rider since he's been drafted.
Yep.
We love Mitch. I don't think he's as bad as the media makes him out to be. Yeah, he's not a franchise quarterback. He's not the future. He's not going to bring us to a Super Bowl. But why not him over Dalton? Andy Dalton is trash. Like, I don't know. It's March. It's positive vibes. Let's enjoy the tournament.
Vibes. It's not a positive way to end, but it's just like somebody told me, like, oh, this is what the Bears deserve. It's like, oh, I honestly don't think it's that bad of a deal. It's like, yes, it is. Like, you're not a Bears fan then. Like that. Like we're giving
$10 million to him and like double or triple that to Foles. Like, it's like
they're the same dude. They're the same washed up quarterback that I don't know,
would be a backup on any other team. Like,
I don't know. It's just whatever. This is March, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go, Illini.
Let's get some winners.
The Bears had to die so the Illini could live. This is the year, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan, thank you so much for joining me. Maloney's Moneyline, March Madness. So this is going to just be video. Next week, we'll have video along with podcast audio version as well. We'll be pumping this up. Make sure you share this with all your friends. Watch this to get all your bets in before the game start on Thursday night. Brew Party bracket pool, Brew Party challenge. If you want to join that, still available. $10 entry fee. The pot is already over $250. Winner take all. $10 entry fee. Come on. Test your college basketball knowledge, or you can just wing it. It doesn't really matter.
It might even be better.
Probably going to be better. Ryan, so good to see your face again. So glad to hear that sweet, soothing voice. Happy St. Patty's Day. The boys are back. Maloney's Moneyline. Big things next week. You better stay tuned for that announcement.